Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Cassie and I'm going to be going over some November book releases that I am interested in and that you might find interesting as well. So first we have Blood Marked by Tracy Dion, and it is the sequel to Legendborn. And I'm going to read the synopsis for Legendborn because I don't want to give away whatever Legendborn is about by reading Bloodmarked synopsis. So, after her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. A secret society of so-called Legendborn students that hunt the creatures down. And a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure unlocks Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory with a hidden connection. The night her mother died, another Merlin was at the hospital. Now that Bree knows there's more to her mother's death than what's on the police report, she'll do whatever it takes to find out the truth, even if that means infiltrating the Legendborn as one of their initiates. She recruits Nick, a self-exiled Legendborn with his own grudge against the group, and their reluctant partnership pulls them deeper into the society's secrets and closer to each other. But when the Legendborn reveal themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knights, and explain that a magical war is coming, Bree has to decide how far she'll go for the truth and whether she should use her magic to take the society down or join the fight. Sounds interesting. I haven't read it yet, but I want to. Next we have, excuse me, Children of Ragnarok by Cinda Williams-Chima. And this is the first book in the Runestone saga. And it says, ever since Ragnarok, the great war between the gods and the forces of chaos, the human realm of the Midlands has become a dangerous place bereft of magic where most lead lives of desperation. 16-year-old Eric Halvorsen is among the luckier ones. Between fishing, going Vikinger, and working his Mother's farm, the family has remained prosperous, but Eric stands to lose everything when he's convicted by a rigged jury of murdering his Madar and stepfather. Also at risk is his half-sister, Liv, whose interest in cedar or magic has made her a figure of suspicion. When a powerful Jarl steps in, he will pay the blood price if Eric will lead a mission to the fabled temple at the Grove, the rich stronghold of the word spinners and last practitioners of sorcery. It sounds interesting. I'm not going to read the whole synopsis. That was half the synopsis and it already sounds interesting. If you want to know more about it or read the whole synopsis, you can go to Goodreads. Alright, next we have The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. And she wrote Truth Witch series along with a few other books, I think. The Luminaries is the first book in the Luminaries. And it says, Hemlock Falls isn't like other towns. You won't find it on a map. Your phone won't work here, and the forest outside town might just kill you. Winnie Wednesday wants nothing more than to join the Luminaries, the ancient order that protects Winnie's town and the rest of humanity from the monsters and nightmares that rise in the forests of Hemlock Falls every night. Ever since her father was exposed as a witch and a traitor, Winnie and her family have been shunned, but on her 16th birthday, she can take the deadly Luminary Hunter trials and prove herself true and loyal and restore her family's good name or die trying. But in order to survive, Winnie enlists the help of the one person who can help her train, Jay Friday, resident bad boy and Winnie's ex-best friend. While Jay might be the most promising new hunter in Hemlock Falls, he also seems to know more about the nightmares of the forest than he should. Together, he and Winnie will discover a danger lurking in the forest no one in Hemlock Falls is prepared for. Not all monsters can be slain, and not all nightmares are confined to the dark. I liked her Truth Witch series, so I'm going to give this one a try when it comes out. Which, yeah, November. Next is Ocean's Echo by Everina Maxwell. And this is kind of a sequel, but not to Winter's Orbit. And the reason it's kind of a sequel and not is I think it takes place in the same world, but it's a standalone. Both of them are. So they don't really, the storylines don't really connect very much, if at all, is from what I understand. And it's about, let's see, rich socialite, inveterate flirt, and walking disaster Tenel Hin Halkana can read minds. Tenel, like all neuromodified readers, is a security threat on his own. But when controlled, readers are a rare asset. Not only can they read minds, but they can navigate chaotic space, the maelstroms surrounding the gateway to the wider universe. Conscripted into the military under dubious circumstances, Tenel is placed into the care of Lieutenant Surrit Yenni, a duty-bound soldier, principled leader, and the son of a notorious traitor general. Whereas Tenel can read minds, Surrit can influence them. Like all other neuromodified architects, he can impose his will onto others, and he's under orders to control Tenel by merging their minds. Surrit accepted a suspicious promotion track request out of desperation, but he refused to go through with his illegal orders to sink and control an unconsenting Tenel. So they lie. They fake a sync bond and plan Tenel's escape. Their best chance arrives with a salvage retrieval mission into chaotic space to the very neuromodification lab that Surrit's traitor mother destroyed 20 years ago. And among the rubble is a treasure both terrible and unimaginably powerful, one that upends a decades-old power struggle and begins a war. Tenel and Surrit can no longer abandon their unit or their world. The only way to avoid life under full military control is to complete the very sync they've been faking. Can two unwilling weapons of war bring about peace? Sounds interesting. So next is The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. And this is, I guess, the 7th book in the Mistborn saga. You have the first 3 books in the Mistborn saga, and then you have a secondary trilogy, I guess. Second era, I think they call it, of Mistborn. And this, I guess, it's not a trilogy anymore. I guess it's a quartet, since they're adding this new book, The Lost Metal, unless they're starting a whole new trilogy. And it just starts with The Lost Metal. I honestly don't know. But if you want to read Mistborn, I believe the first book is The Final Empire. And it is about a girl that lives on the street. She gets picked up to be in a heist type situation. Finds out that she can control metal by swallowing it, and by swallowing certain metals you can do certain things by pushing or pulling by using the power of the metal. It's a very interesting magic system, and I highly enjoyed it when I read it. I have not read the second era books, just haven't gotten around to it, but the first generation books was really good. So next is Of Shadow and Moonlight by Luna Laurier. I think that's how you say it. And it is the first book in the Shadow and Moonlight saga, I guess. And it says that take a story inspired by Black Dagger Brotherhood's vampires, add a dash of modern twists on A Court of Thorns and Roses, Throne of Glass, and a splash of Greek mythology, and you get Of Shadow and Moonlight. Vampires, monsters, Greek mythology, gods, magic, and more. Who wouldn't like something like that? But apparently it's about this woman that's fated to die young. Her name is Cassie. And she's been pretty sheltered and protected from an inevitable fate that would come for her regardless of what anyone could do. And she's got a medical condition that's going downhill that pretty much leaves her with only a few years, and she has to make a choice of dying alone or finding out what it truly means to be free. She meets a guy named Damien, and he shows her the hidden magic that lies in the shadows of her world and within herself. And suddenly she's plunged into a hidden war that has raged countless centuries between gods and monsters. And Cassie begins to feel the weight of her secret, which she has kept hidden all of her life. Cassie must embrace the tragic, dark history that runs through the blood in her veins, or risk her world falling into darkness. Pretty interesting. And then next, and the last one, is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I haven't read anything by Lynn Painter, but I've heard good things. So I figured, I'd go ahead and put this on the list because I am interested in it. It's like a Groundhog's Day book where this woman gets trapped in on Valentine's Day, repeating, where she's got to relive her boyfriend cheating on her, and then let's see, she keeps running into a guy named Nick, sometimes literally in unfortunate ways, and it's about what happens when the universe stops doing do-overs, I guess. So I'm assuming there's a bunch of do-overs that you have to read through, and then it's what happens when the do-overs stop. So all of these books sound very interesting to me, and I'm sorry if my camera is shaking. I'm shaking my leg and I don't realize it half the time. So if the camera has been shaking, I apologize. I just realized that I was shaking my leg. So those are the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books that I'm interested that come out in November. And I'm going to be trying something different in November, so I probably won't do a book haul in a while because I'm going to be trying to only buy one book per pay period, and I only get paid twice a month, so that's only 2 books. Whereas I usually buy like somewhere around 15 a month. And that's just an average. Sometimes I buy less, sometimes I buy more. But finances, yeah. I need to start looking at my finances a little bit closer when it comes to book buying. So we're going to be trying this system of just one book per pay period. See how it goes. I might do like really, if I do a book haul at all, it's only going to be 2 books a month. So I might hold off and just do it like every other month. Maybe every 3 months, depending on if this works. I'm not sure. But that was the November releases. If you like this video, hit like, and if you want to see more by me, hit subscribe.